Dear viewers, today I will tell you about one of the most amazing countries in Asia, India. It is a place where every tourist can experience real life, full of contrasts, surreal views, and mind-blowing stories. India is an incredible country that can evoke many different emotions in travelers. But one of the most unusual and shocking aspects of this country is the problem of waste. India is often called one of the dirtiest countries in the world, and this is not an exaggeration. Living among garbage and chaos has become a mundane reality for many of India's residents. Imagine streets filled with garbage to the point of being impassable, dirty rivers strewn with debris and plastic, and vast landfills where people are forced to live and work. This is just a small part of the waste problem in India, and although the government is taking steps to address this issue, solving it is difficult due to the complexity of the situation and the lack of infrastructure. It is important to note that for many Indians, the waste problem has become part of their daily lives. They are used to the environment being littered with waste and simply do not see anything extraordinary about it. However, for foreigners, especially for Westerners, this can be a real shock. One of the most well-known examples of this problem is the city of Varanasi. It is one of the oldest sacred places in India, where Hindus perform rituals on the Ganges River. But the reality of Varanasi also includes garbage-filled streets and crowds of people living on the trash-covered banks of the river. Nevertheless, it is amazing that despite all these problems, Indians do not lose their zest for life and positive attitude. They continue to live, work, and celebrate their holidays with bright and sincere enthusiasm. But India is not only a country of garbage and chaos. Here you can find many amazing and unique cultural aspects that will make you admire and marvel. For example, traditional Indian rituals and ceremonies, such as the Holy Festival of Colors or the peculiarities of Indian cuisine, where each dish has its own unique history and significance. Indian culture is rich in myths, legends, and traditions that still exist and permeate the lives of local residents. The country is rich in diversity of languages, folk crafts, and traditions that create a unique atmosphere and attract tourists from all over the world. Therefore, despite all the difficulties and problems, India remains one of the most amazing places on the planet, where every tourist can find something that will amaze and surprise them. The unique culture, traditions, and challenging nature of this country make India uniquely and incomparably. Dear friends, if you want to learn more about India, its amazing culture, and unique traditions, follow my videos on the channel. And do not be afraid to immerse yourself in new worlds, even if they scare and amaze you, because that is the most interesting part of traveling. See you in the next video. Although there are many measures and programs aimed at combating environmental pollution in India, their implementation leaves much to be desired. One of the reasons for this problem is the lack of awareness among the population of the importance of environmental safety and responsibility for their actions. Many people are forced to live and work among garbage, as there is no effective waste collection and disposal system. Landfills have become a norm for many cities, and the smell and sight of decaying waste have become a common occurrence for residents. Most cities in India suffer from overpopulation, lack of infrastructure, and low hygiene standards. This creates favorable conditions for the development of diseases and epidemics, which often rage in such places. India has indeed faced the problem of water and air pollution, leading to serious health consequences for the population. Children and the elderly are victims of pollution, suffering from allergies, respiratory diseases, and other illnesses caused by poor environmental conditions. Combating the problem of pollution in India requires a comprehensive approach and coordinated efforts from the government, organizations, and civil society. It is necessary to conduct educational programs on the importance of caring for the environment, develop technologies for waste disposal and recycling, and implement strict environmental standards to prevent water and air pollution. It is also important to change the mentality of the population and instill in them a sense of responsibility for preserving the cleanliness and well-being of their country. Only through joint efforts can the situation be changed and make India a more favorable place to live and work. Attention should also be paid to the development of infrastructure and urban planning to avoid overpopulation and chaos, which leads to pollution and environmental destruction. India can serve as an example to other countries in combating the problem of pollution, if necessary measures are taken and programs for environmental protection are implemented. This requires a change in attitude towards nature and sustainable development that takes into account the needs of the current generation but does not forget about future generations. India has great potential for changes and improvements in environmental safety, and it is important not to remain indifferent to the problems that millions of people face every day. Unfortunately, life in India is often associated with a constant struggle with garbage and chaos. Cities often seem flooded with waste, and it seems that no one cares about cleanliness and order. Even in major metropolises, where there are many garbage containers, people prefer to throw garbage on the streets instead of disposing of it properly. Local residents often complain about the lack of social responsibility from their neighbors, as well as the authorities' indifference to the problem of environmental pollution. The vast majority of buildings in the country are not equipped with waste disposal systems, leaving residents with no choice but to burn garbage on the streets or dump it into nature. Major cities in India, such as Delhi and Mumbai, have become symbols of dirt and chaos in the world. Here the streets are littered with garbage, and the air is filled with smoke from burning waste. Most rivers and lakes in these cities are filled with garbage, making the water unfit for drinking or even for domestic use. Garbage is not only an aesthetic problem, but also a medical one. The presence of huge landfills near residential areas contributes to the proliferation of rodents and insects, as well as the spread of infectious diseases. In addition, burning garbage in the open air is a source of harmful gases emissions into the atmosphere, worsening air quality and increasing the risk of respiratory diseases. Despite all these problems, initiatives and organizations are beginning to emerge in India that are fighting for cleanliness and sustainable resource use. Many young activists and public organizations conduct campaigns for separate waste collection, teach children the correct methods of waste disposal, and draw public attention to the problem of environmental pollution. The recently introduced Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Clean India mission, in India is aimed at creating a clean and healthy country by raising awareness among the population about the problem of waste and its proper disposal. Government initiatives to build large waste processing plants and create infrastructure for waste sorting and recycling also show that the country's authorities take the problem of pollution seriously. India is undoubtedly facing serious challenges in the field of waste disposal and environmental protection. But by recognizing these problems and working together to solve them, the country is already taking a step forward towards a cleaner and healthier future for its citizens. It is important to remember that each of us has a responsibility for the state of the environment and for providing future generations with a healthy planet to live on. Despite the efforts of the Indian government to combat the problem of waste and environmental pollution, the situation remains extremely complex. Huge mountains of garbage accumulate on the outskirts of cities, and the absence of waste disposal and recycling systems only exacerbates the problem. Many residents of the country are forced to live among garbage, inhaling toxic fumes and facing various diseases. Moreover, the lack of public awareness and culture of environmental relations is a serious obstacle to solving the problem of pollution. Most residents of India have not yet realized the seriousness of the situation and continue to throw garbage directly on the streets, into rivers and canals, which in turn leads to the pollution of water resources and outbreaks of infectious diseases. Mass educational campaigns are needed to educate and raise a new generation of citizens who will responsibly treat the environment and help preserve cleanliness and health in their country. Thus, India remains one of the dirtiest countries in the world, where living among garbage and chaos has become a norm for millions of people. Urgent measures are needed to improve the ecological situation in the country and ensure a healthy and safe living environment for all its citizens. Otherwise, the consequences of environmental pollution could be catastrophic and irreversible. Thank you for reading. Don't forget to leave your opinion.